All my films were banned in the early 1940s, perhaps because my producers had been Jewish, or perhaps because Gabin and Michel Morgan had gone to the United States. Anyway, the Germans had banned them all. Prévert said to me, "What period can we use for our subject?" And straight away I said, "The Middle Ages."
Carné's team assembled again near Cannes. Troner set about building a castle that was elaborate even by his standards. To this chateau ride two strolling players, envoys of the devil in disguise.
During the war, one had a strange feeling, a strange desire. I'm not sure if you can translate this into English. To recapture, through the spirit of our art, everything we had lost on the battlefield. I mean, we wanted to shine, through our culture at least, to show that France wasn't finished. And I think an awful lot of talented film directors felt the same way. We wanted to surpass ourselves.
De vouloir se surpasser.
The devil's work begins. Carné rejoiced at the combination of setting, magic, and fantasy that he could deploy. It was, after all, the ultimate in escape movies. Unreal people, a fairy tale setting, a time so distant it had to be invented. But there were reminders of the real world outside. The food for the banquets had to be sprayed to stop the hungry extras from eating it.
Gone from the beloved capital, blighted by German occupation, is the gaiety, high life, cultural atmosphere for which Paris was renowned. The cities of France, if not dead, are sick. No apostle of freedom dare show his face. Underground are driven all the elements that resist.
There were hints in Les Visiteurs that Carné and Prévert hadn't escaped altogether into the Middle Ages. The wily Prévert could hardly resist reference in Vichy France to the unexpected guest.
Je vous aime. Et personne, vous m'entendez? Personne ne pourra m'empêcher de vous aimer.
But when the devil drives, values are turned upside down. In place of Prévert's customary cynicism, the course of true love, perversely, does for once run smooth, and the lady begins to win over the devil's envoy by the force of her virtue. It's time for the devil himself to intervene. Another unexpected guest.
Un seigneur égaré, surpris par l'orage, demande l'hospitalité pour la nuit.
Excusez-moi, je dois souhaiter la bienvenue à ce visiteur inattendu. À l'honneur que vous me faites. Vous êtes ici chez vous.
Je vous remercie.
Vous venez de loin, sans...
Oh, de très loin. Je suis un grand voyageur, on ne peut pas. Cet orage m'a surpris. Ce n'est pas que je craigne la foudre. Je risquais d'être trempé jusqu'à l'os, ce qui est fort déplaisant. Oh, quel bon feu! Oh, j'aime bien le feu. Lui aussi m'aime bien. Tenez, voyez comme les flammes sont prévenantes pour moi. Elle me lèche les doigts comme le ferait un jeune chien. C'est agréable.
If I'd been able to make just the films I wanted to make, I'd only have made films that brought out a sense of the miraculous, the fantastical. In the end, that's what I really love.
Je savais bien que je ne pouvais pas vous perdre.
Anne! Éloigne-toi de lui!
Non. Rien ne pourra nous séparer désormais.
Éloigne-toi de lui pour la dernière fois! Mon Pierre, vous entendez? Mon Pierre, vous serez changé.
It's hardly surprising that at the time audiences saw this scene as the allegory of a petrified France with a still beating heart.
Voilà bien le silence que j'aime. Le silence de mort. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Quel est ce bruit?
I'll be quite honest. If there was a hidden allegory in Prévert mind, or in mine, it was subconscious. And when people started to talk about the heart beating under the statue of France imprisoned under the occupation, I got pretty worried, because you could get in deep trouble for that sort of thing, and not just censored. It could be much worse. Let's not forget that I was working with Tonnerre and Cosma, who were Jewish, and were hidden up in the hills above Cannes. I went to see them with Tonnerre's sketches and Cosma's music under my arm. So it was a very risky business. In fact, I could have been sent to a concentration camp, but I really had no alternative. Tonnerre and Cosma were working with us. They were Jewish. They had to earn their living. And of course, they were too proud to take money for nothing.
To forced labor in Germany, the collaborationists and men of Vichy send hundreds of thousands of Frenchmen, a crime for which France will hold them responsible in the hour of liberation.